YouTube Nation, Main Event TV, aka Me TV, aka if you're not going to perform, just quit. Just quit. I'll put it like this. First off, I just want to say for those I'm talking about, alright, John Jones versus Rashad Evans, yeah, they fought 2 rounds out of 5. So I gave it a 2 out of 5, alright? Because that dance fest they had, hold my hand. Get out of here, man. Tired of this, alright? For those who didn't see over the weekend, Bernard Hopkins versus Bad Chad Dawson, B-Hop, you lost. You lost. You had one good punch, all right, throughout the entire fight. You lost. It was that simple. You had the kid mentally where you want him and you didn't strike. You're 47 years old. I don't know why you're so mad that you lost. The kid was more busy. He threw more combinations. You kept throwing this 1-2 punch thinking it was going to work. It didn't. There was one time you actually did knock down Chad Dawson. For those who see, it was around the 4th or 5th. He knocked him down, but Chad, was when he's falling backwards, he grabbed B-Hop, and that's when you saw, I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but B-Hop tried to do this thing where he went through the ropes. Yeah, that's actually a standing 8 count. B-Hop got screwed on that knockdown. He did. But overall, the fight, you lost. You did, all right? You headbutt on one side, all right? But then the other side, when you cut him, but the other side, you clearly hit him and cut him. I'll give you that, all right? But you can't sit here after the fight. Chad Dawson gave him his credit and called him. He still called him a dirty fighter, though. But we all know this by now, all right? But B-Hop said that he didn't want to do an interview. And then when he's leaving the ring, he's like, look at my face, look at his face, look at my face. I don't recall boxing being about how much damage you've taken to your face. I remember you went on points. I don't know. Where's this dude coming from? B-Hop, you're a legend here in Philadelphia. You held the title for so long. You got to stop acting like this when you lose. There's been plenty of times you've been screwed. I will give you that, all right? But that night, you lost. You did. It's that simple. Now let's move on real quick because we got to talk about the EPL. Yes, that's right. Yesterday, for those who did not see, Man City versus Man United, Manchester United, whatever you want to call them, I'll put it like this. It was an exciting game. I mean, I did not expect Manchester City to come out firing on all cylinders. They were so aggressive the entire match. And it was great to see till about the 45-minute mark around there where they actually had success. All right, and then we went into halftime. And I'm thinking to myself, they're going to make adjustments, man. You know, Manchester United. Yeah, well, guess what? That didn't help. But I will say that there were times that Manchester City did get away with murder just a little bit. But the match was so exciting that every time someone got close to scoring, you almost had to hold your breath. You couldn't breathe. And I'll tell you before, all right, the crowd when it comes to soccer or football, overseas, whatever you want to call it, they're some of the greatest crowds I've ever seen. They just are. And I'm telling you, you hold your breath because you don't know what's going to happen. And some people in the crowd couldn't even watch the game.
And it's late too. Very late. Can't watch. Just can't watch.
Just listen to the noise.
Well, I know one Manchester City fan who said he wasn't going to watch it, couldn't bear to watch it. He wanted someone to text him the score when it was over. He'd be sitting having a stiff drink somewhere, is that?
Like I said, guys, if they keep showing soccer or football, I'll keep watching it. But it's really hard to get ESPN or whoever else, the stations, like I said, it's really hard. And sometimes you guys have already seen it and we haven't. And then we have to wait to see what's going on. But it's already on the internet like, yeah, such and such won. It's like, well, damn. You know what I mean? But you still watch it anyway just for the experience, you know? So I'll put it like this. Like I said, I've done a lot of videos in the past of soccer. Hopefully, we'll keep it going, all right? But until then, I need to move on to baseball. I got to talk about you baseball fans real quick, all right? Especially Phillies fans. Because I understand the team is doing really bad right now. Like I said they would. They're doing pretty bad right now. But I find it crazy that you guys have to find some type of form of entertainment in the stands.
Good job was mentioned by Joe, and then Chad Falls once again gets the job done. Look at that action. Saw a cow earlier with the fanatic. It was silver.
Really? What is that? But you know what? Also, Dodgers fans, they just had to trump us this week and take it to another level. It seems like somebody's had way too much to drink. I'm just saying. Anyways, also, in more baseball news, for those who don't know, Matt Geiger, ex-Sixer, was kicked out of a stadium because he interfered with a baseball. Man can't do nothing right. Can't do a damn thing right, can you, Matt Geiger? I mean, come on. But you know what? I need to move on, because speaking of basketball, we have to talk about this. The NBA playoffs, you guys have been asking me to talk about this. Hold on. Now, we need to talk about this Derrick Rose injury. Now, understand that nobody here in Philadelphia thought that the Sixers had a shot at the Bulls. And you know what? I still don't think they're going to win this series due to the fact their B team can beat our A team. All right? I'm just saying it. But Derrick Rose was injured, right? And we all know this, and, you know, now that we know he's torn ACL, and it's sad to see a player go down like that, because you should know you always want to play the best, you know, to get to the next level. And I even though I joke about with you guys, especially when it comes to hockey, when it comes to the Flyers and Rangers, say, oh, we don't want to play the Rangers. You know what I mean? You always want to play the best, you know, to get to that point. And you Rangers fans, I know you think you're going to kick our asses. And I've said before, you can, because we haven't beaten you all season, but I want to go back. Let me not, you know, get off topic. I want to talk about this. Now that Derrick Rose is hurt, there's been a lot of people coming out, not in Philly, but in Miami, saying that, you know, now that Shumpert's hurt with the Knicks and Derrick Rose is hurt, you know, it's great to be a Heat fan right now. And I'll put it like this. You shouldn't be happy that players are injured. You do realize that if they had an even worse injury, they could be out for the rest of their careers. That all because you want to win a championship. No, that's not right, Miami fans. I'm going to talk about you Miami fans, you know, in a minute. I'm going to give you guys some credit, but that's pretty low of you to do. It really is. But what's even worse is what Nike did after Derrick Rose got hurt, because, check this out. A designer from Nike came out and tweeted afterwards about Derrick Rose, you know, to add insult to injury. He says, you got one guy getting stronger, talking about LeBron. And he says, and got one guy breaking down before our very eyes, Derrick Rose. It says, you chose poorly, Pooh. And it said, hashtag, should have signed with Nike, hashtag GWS. Now, that's Nike. Now, I told you guys before about this. What did I say? When a company hires somebody, they represent that company. This is wrong with Nike. They have to do something about this. This was a designer on their, you know, in Nike's design team. All right? I'll put the link in the info bar for you guys so you can see that. Now, I want to talk about the Heat real quick, because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the rest of these playoffs have been, I mean, seriously, did anyone see Oklahoma City and Dallas last night? I mean, come on, Dirk. You're not going to sit there and try to elbow, Perkins. Come on, you know you don't want to fight. Stop that. Stop it. I understand frustrations boil over, but still. Now, speaking of frustrations, I have to talk about this, because the Miami Heat, we've seen this over the weekend. We saw it last night, all right? The Miami Heat has been given some serious special attention from the referees. And for those saying, no, they're not, yes, they are, because even your Heat fans are coming out and saying now, you know, that, look, refs, we appreciate you want to help us. We don't need your help. We want to win legit. We do not need this. All right? So Heat fans are pissed off. Knicks fans are pissed off. They're getting screwed. And we'll talk about this, because in game one, Amare and the guy from the Heat, he blocked the guy's shot, and they were just talking and laughing. Ref comes over and gives them both a tech. Makes no sense. LeBron comes over and is like, why are you giving them a tech? They're just talking and laughing. I guess the referee thought that they were going to get into something, but still, you have to let that play out. If they're laughing and talking, there's no reason to tech them. It's wrong. Absolutely wrong. And I'm talking about Amare later, okay? But, guys, you have to understand, throughout that game, LeBron is flopping, he's flopping, he's flopping. People were sending me stuff on Twitter saying, yeah, look at LeBron James' halftime, his highlights. And they sent me a picture of a fish flopping in the water. Like, that's all it was. It was absolute joke. It was. There's no way you can push a guy from behind forward, but he falls backwards. You can't do that, okay? It's flopping. And the thing is, people who think that LeBron James, oh, well, you're just jumping on him. No. If you listen to what Jeff Van Gundy was saying the entire time, he was breaking this down. And everybody, even people on Twitter was like, you know what, I'm a big LeBron James fan, but listen to Jeff Van Gundy. As this game is going on, it shows that LeBron is flopping. He's being sensitive, and it's ridiculous. We've seen this way too many times. I mean, I personally thought he got to the foul line a little bit too much. I'm not going to blame LeBron too much because what the refs were doing. Now, when the refs when they stepped in and started controlling this game, I told you before, referees dictate the flow of the game. That's what they do, all right? And they give athletes a chance to shine. That's what they do, all right? But when referees clearly take over the game, there's a problem. And a lot of you people, as soon as it started happening, started saying Tim Donaghy's name. Now, I did a video, a couple months ago, about Tim Donaghy and how he sat here, and now that he's out of jail or whatever, he's back, and he was showing things from last season, what was going on. I'm sure he'll come out this season and do it as well. You have to understand that the NBA knows what they're doing. It's fixed. It is. If you can't see that by now, no. And like I said, I'm not going to blame the Heat. I'm not going to blame LeBron or waiting on him. No, this is clearly something with David Stern. And I want to talk about this more because it's amazing how Rajon Rondo can bump into a ref and get a suspension, and David Stern will come out and talk about that, but he won't talk about the refereeing of the Knicks Miami Heat. And for those who didn't see what happened, Dwayne Wade last night takes Mike Bibby's shoe and throws it. Doesn't even get a tech. If you didn't see it, here's the clip for it.
From three, Wade, outside, Miller, triple. And Bibby comes up with it. And gets it to J.R. Smith. Lost the shoe. Bibby lost his shoe, and here's a nice little alley-oop at the other end. And it was Chandler once again skying high, a 4-on-5. One of the parts that you need to play this game is good footwear, good shoes. And sometimes a player on the opposing team, look at this. Wade takes Bibby's shoe, and that's his former teammate. He throws his shoe.
Now, even though throwing that shoe isn't as malicious as people are making it out to be, you have to understand Dwayne Wade is purposely keeping a player off the court. That is a technical foul. It is. Whether you like it or not, it's a tech. I guarantee you if the Knicks had did something like that, it would have been a tech. It's ridiculous. No, this has nothing to do with the Miami Heat. It has nothing to do with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, whoever. This is the NBA at work. That's all this is. New Yorkers, I understand why you're pissed off. Miami fans are pissed off too, but New Yorkers have every right to be pissed off after the way they've been screwed, all right? Especially after the game, here we go again. Amare Stoudemire decides he wants to be tough guy and start punching fire extinguishers, the glass of it. And then he lacerates his hand, and now he's out of playoffs. New Yorkers are pissed off. You guys, and I read your tweet, you guys are saying that's the first time he's attacked the glass aggressively all year. You know what? I'll put it like this. There's no reason for Amare to do these type of things. Obviously, somebody called him out. That's exactly what happened. All right, and these refs, they're really not playing fair, but there's really nothing you can do about it because David Stern won't clean the game up. You have to look at him and say, look, there's some, you can come out and speak on Rondo, but you can't come out and speak on this. It really upsets me that they would do something like this. It really does. Obviously, this is being set up for OKC versus Miami showdown. All right, there may be an upset maybe in the West when it comes to the Spurs. I really doubt it, but I think that OKC will take it. And I put it like this. They're having this MVP race. You know the NBA's tainted when Tony Parker gets an MVP nod. I'm sorry, all right? It's just, you know it's tainted. I put it like this. If he wins the MVP, I will never talk basketball again, ever. So if you want me to stop talking basketball, I advise you to go vote for Tony Parker at this point, all right? But you have to be kidding me. There's no reason why Amare Stoudemire can do this. New Yorkers, I got to talk to you for a minute. Look, I understand that Philly and New York, you know, we rival. But we're almost the same. And I put it like this because when an athlete does not perform here, we want them gone. When an athlete does not perform in New York, you want them gone. Amare's getting paid $100 million. All right, to do nothing pretty much. And I understand why you guys want him traded. I've seen people on Twitter first when they said they wanted him traded earlier this year, people were calling him haters. Now they all rolling over there. Now it's all, now you want to come over to this side. It's really simple, guys. There needs to be something done. And I wanted Amare to come to Philly because we need that presence. But if he's going to play like that and start punching things like that, you know we don't need him. All right, we already got enough people who wreck hotel rooms and things of that nature. We don't need that. All right. But you have to understand that New Yorkers have every right to be mad. And the Brooklyn Nets are coming in like, oh, let's debut the new logo. Did you see? And they've given Jay-Z the credit on doing the logo. All I did was put a B in the damn basketball. Yeah, so we should just give him credit. You gotta be kidding me, man. I'll put it like this. The Brooklyn Nets, I feel bad for you guys because you're coming to New York City and no one's going to see your games. Nobody's going to come in and represent Brooklyn. I mean, I understand Brooklyn people going to represent the BK. All right? I understand that. All right? I understand that. But you have to understand that these people have been Knicks fans for years and years and years. No way are they just going to walk away from their team to come to the Brooklyn Nets. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You may get the North Jersey people, you know what I'm saying? You may get them, but you're not going to get, you know, New Yorkers like that. You're not. It's really that simple. I don't understand what's going on here in the NBA, and it's at this point, the playoffs, it's such a train wreck. And speaking of train wrecks, we got to talk. WWE, this Extreme Rules, you know, the pay-per-view that was Extreme Rules and it really wasn't no Extreme Rules? Yeah, let's talk about this, all right? Because, first off, I don't understand the writing of this. I don't understand the setups because they're absolutely stupid. That's why, all right? Randy Orton and Kane fight, and it's the most boring fight I've seen in a long time, all right? But the build-up to the fight, oh, I got Paul Bearer, I'm going to throw him in there. And Kane doesn't give a damn if you throw Paul Bearer in there. He don't care, all right? But it just goes to show you that they tried so hard and they missed the mark every time. They do, all right? Brodus Clay, I'm tired of him. I'm tired of looking at him already. And I put it like this, not because of his dancing or his little wacky antics, but now because he has Hornswoggle. It's like they just throw any person who has really a lack of charisma or they think that they can get some type of, how can I put it like this, there's a new fan base off of him, they throw Hornswoggle in there. That's what they do. He doesn't need to wrestle, all right? He doesn't. Give him a different role. I would like to see, you know what, if you want to give him a role, give Hornswoggle, give him GM role. Give him a GM role. You know what I mean? That would make it more exciting than seeing him come out in the ring and those little, in the little onesie. I don't want to see that, man. Come on, man. Like, you gotta be kidding me at this point. It's a joke the way they use a lot of these wrestlers. I don't understand it. But let's move on. All right, speaking of horrible writing and horrible booking, I should say, the Big Show and Cody Rhodes. Now, this is what I understand. Before the match, they do this Russian roulette wheel. Teddy Long rolls it. Okay, he rolls it. And it's random. And then when you find out that it's a tables match, Cody Rhodes turns to Teddy Long and says, "It's your fault." How is it his fault? He said, "How's it my fault?" I don't understand it either. You spun a wheel. How is that your fault? And like Eve looks at him like, and walks away. Like, what? What did he do? He did nothing. Right? You know what I mean? But spin a wheel. And they just disrespect him. I understand that people don't like Teddy Long for SmackDown or whatever. They all on John Laurinaitis' side. But you have to be kidding me. To blame Teddy Long for spinning the damn wheel, come on. And then I thought it couldn't get any worse from there. But it did, all right? Because you got to be kidding me if you think that Big Show stepping on a table, which you can clearly see was going to happen. Stepping on a table means he went through a table. Come on. This is horrible. It's an absolute joke. You have to be kidding me. And I'm thinking to myself, because I'm talking to you guys on Twitter, we're all discussing this, and at one point I just went silent. Because I was speechless. And that's very hard for me to do, as you can see. I was speechless as to how bad this pay-per-view was. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And then I'm like this, Sheamus and Bryan Daniel, finally we get a match. I mean, I didn't like the pacing of the match. I didn't like all the rest holds. You know what I mean? Not submissions, but rest holds. And we're talking about, getting behind a guy and doing all like that. That's a rest hold. Because they're talking, they're giving the guy a break, all right? It's a rest hold. And as far as I'm concerned, it was a little ill-paced, but I did like the fact that Sheamus made Daniel Bryan, or Amdrag, whatever you want to call him, he made him look somewhat credible. He made him look like a threat, and that's all that matters, all right? That's exactly the pace you want to give him, because regardless if he gets a title shot or not, I mean, with his popularity right now, you have to keep giving him a title shot. I'll put it like this. If Triple H can get a title shot after losing title like 6, 7 times in a row, if Batista constantly, I want a title shot, and he gets his title shot, I don't see the reason why Daniel Bryan couldn't. I understand he's probably not as big as those guys, but you can have a good whiny heel in the making here. You really could. I say you give him another title shot. Let them feud for a little bit. You know what I mean? Let them, because it goes to show you that Daniel Bryan clearly can hang with Sheamus. He can, all right? So it was an okay match. Best match of the night, as usual, Jericho, CM Punk. Now, granted, it's a street fight, but they had the best spot of the night where CM Punk jumps off of the turnbuckle and onto the table with the flying elbow. So you got to give him credit just for that alone, okay? CM Punk, of course, beats Jericho for a second time, which is interesting because, I really thought that, eventually they're going to have to give Jericho his due. I understand you guys had said Jericho now is just being brought in to, push the younger guys, but Jericho still has a lot in the tank, if you ask me. Jericho, and I love the fact that they use the Jerichoholics Anonymous. I love that because that's just a blast from the past. You know what I mean? But you have to understand, Jericho still has it in him. He still has the mic skills. He still has, the conditioning. He can easily be a world champion. All right. I'll put it like this: if somebody ever goes down SmackDown, and you need somebody to lead SmackDown, you can easily take Jericho, put him on SmackDown, make him champion. You could easily do that. All right. As far as I'm concerned, I know a lot of people are getting tired of Randy Orton, and this Viper thing. It's the same thing, He has his 5 moves of doom, just like any other wrestler, clothesline, power slam, getting set up for an arc, DDT into the, halfway in the ropes and then, RKO, which is, a glorified diamond cutter. It's not the same, but I'm sorry, fans, I still like the diamond cutter, okay? DDP, all right? But that's how far wrestling goes back for me, DDP. But, not even DDP, but Kanyon going around WCW randomly diamond cutting staff employees. That was hilarious, all right? But, you know what? I need to move on. You can't have an Extreme Rules match when you have the Divas wrestling. All right, and you can't bring your sister in. It's Extreme Rules. Nothing goes. All right, that's how it's supposed to be. There should be no DQ. It's Extreme Rules. You should be using weapons and tables. Understand, you don't want to, oversaturate the gimmick that night. But that's the entire point of Extreme Rules. All right, to get extreme, and it seems like it was just ridiculous. All right, I understand Layla came back, and I'm all happy, for Layla, not because I like her as a wrestling, but because of other things why I like her. But Layla's back, and she wins the title, and nobody cares. All right, there was no crowd reaction whatsoever, so it was a waste of time. But I'm sure we all know at this point, certain diva matches, they're bathroom breaks. They are. Now I need to move on because in Extreme Rules, this match is Extreme Rules, and they said that. All right, we're going to talk about Botch Lesnar, and John Cena. Now, we should know. At first, I thought this was going to be an actual wrestling match. And then first 4 seconds into it, it turned to an MMA match quick, all right? Lesnar goes for the double leg takedown, starts hitting him with elbow strikes. Cena starts bleeding. And what happens in the Extreme Rules match? As soon as he starts bleeding, they stop the match. They stop the match. People start coming out and checking on his face. You gotta be kidding me. This is Extreme Rules. Why are you checking on his face? I can't believe that they stopped this match. There were so many stops. I just didn't understand it. The pace of the match was horrible. Lesnar pretty much put like this. If you hate Cena, you got what you wanted, all right, until pretty much the last minute of the fight. But you got what you wanted, which is someone beating the hell out of him. And he didn't have literally no offense. He really didn't do anything, all right? Lesnar just imposed dominance on him. But then there were times where you can tell they didn't know what to do. Lesnar's sitting there, jumping back and forth in the ring. I'm like, okay, what's the point of this? I understand he's supposed to be the cocky heel. There was plenty of times where Cena had his back to him because, you know, Lesnar wanted to make him suffer with submissions. But I'm thinking to myself, he's sitting in the turnbuckle, his back, his back towards you, and you don't go for a rear naked choke. You want to go for a Kimura or whatever, but it just didn't work out. You get what I'm saying? He was picking and choosing his times, but there was too much time between his taunting and, Cena's vulnerability that just didn't make sense to me. If this guy's supposed to be an animal, he's supposed to be on him like white on rice. You know what I mean? I just didn't understand the writing. He brings in the steps. He's dancing on the steps. He tries to jump over the top rope. Misses completely. All right, misses it completely. I thought he landed on his neck, but he didn't. He landed fine. They showed the replay, and he hit his knee. He starts, favoring his knee and holding his knee, but then 3 seconds later jumps up and starts cheering again. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought your knee was hurt. You know what I mean? It just goes to show you that it was a horrible sell job. Both guys sold each other pretty badly until Cena was, he was bleeding and all, but. Here's the thing. Cena did a better sell job than Lesnar. But then Lesnar, what does he do? Gets back in the ring, starts dancing up again. I'm like, what is the point of this? Then a minute left into the fight, Cena hits him with the chain. Okay, all of a sudden, he's hurt. F5, it's over. So pretty much we got face gets beat up whole time, comes back in a quick second and wins the match. Now, even though the match was absolutely just horrible, okay, what happened after the match was really interesting. It was pretty confusing. It was pretty ironic because Cena comes out and says, at the pay-per-view, he's leaving for a while. He'd give it all he's got and he's leaving. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you can leave. You've been quite oversaturated for a while now. It's probably best you take a break. I had said, to you guys, it's probably best that they went out on a good note for Cena, meaning give him some type of revenge factor. Make him break his arm, and then take time off. That would have been a better way of doing it instead of him getting on a mic and saying, I'm leaving, because a lot of us were saying, you know what, it's real funny that you're going to sit here and leave for a while, but just a month ago, you jumped on a rock for leaving every once in a while and not coming back. So it was kind of ironic, you know what I mean? It was kind of hypocritical, actually, you know what I mean? So what really didn't sit well with me was the Raw after, because he comes out in a sling, and we saw what happened last night. I mean, it was hard to watch. Well, I was sitting there the whole time the pay-per-view. It was hard to watch. And this is what kills me, because they want all this money for these pay-per-views, but they don't give you quality. And as far as I'm concerned, I can see why people don't pay for these pay-per-views. You have to be kidding me. It was almost an insult of my intelligence. It really was. That's how I felt about Extreme Rules. That wasn't such an Extreme Rule thing. And same thing with Raw. You came out there, he's coming out in a sling, and, and they beat on him, so I guess that's what they're going to do. Now he's badly injured, so now he has to take a break after admitting he was going to leave anyway, you know what I mean, the night before. It made no sense. It just didn't. I understand you want to, give him, that heel, that face time. They could have easily cut out the part where he was saying he was leaving, just injured his arm, and then say, hey, he's been put on the shelf, he's going to be away for a while, and he's going to come back with a mean streak. You get what I'm saying? That would have worked a hell of a lot better than getting on the mic and saying, I'm leaving for a while, thank you, blah, blah, blah. Like you retiring or something. Like, come on. All right? It was ridiculous that something like that would even happen. And when he's leaving for a while, he's only going to be gone for like 2-3 months. He's going to take a vacation. That's all it is. All right? So I don't have a problem with it, but I just didn't like the way it was executed. You know what I mean? Same thing with Triple H. Comes out, act like he's going to break his arm to Kimura, and he's so-called broke. But I put it like this. If you broke your arm, you just wouldn't be sitting there like, First off, he went the wrong way if he was going to break it, but but that's wrestling for you. I just didn't understand it. It didn't make any sense to me. It almost reminded me of Kurt Angle. I want to talk about this a little bit, all right? Because when Kurt Angle, when he's so-called broke, Scotty Too Hotty, he's like, yeah, remember him? Scotty Too Hotty when he's doing the worm? broke his ankle, he just turned his shoe, and it looked like his ankle was broken. I just laughed. I mean, it's the same thing. And I have to talk about this first before I'm done, all right? Real fast, all right? Santino Marella, why aren't people giving him the credit he deserves? All right? And I'm talking about this in the backstage people, the writers. And I don't understand this. Because you write this joke character. For anyone ever seen Santino Marella wrestle without being Santino Marella when he was it Boris Alexeyev? Yeah, that was a straight badass. I don't understand why they haven't taken that role yet with Santino. I understand he's a joke character, the Cobra. Look, I like the better one with just Sacco, to be quite honest. All right, but I mean, it's the Cobra, whatever you want to call it. And I don't understand why he hasn't had some type of storyline where he gets beat up so badly that he actually goes for training, and then I'm not saying he should become Boris Alexeyev, but he should have that mean streak, that type of style. You know what? Boris Alexeyev, when he was Boris Alexeyev, he almost reminded me of Davey Richards. That's who he almost reminded me of. And I'm sad to see that there's not more intense shoot fighters. And that's what it seemed like a little bit, with the leg strikes and everything. You're almost sort of shoot fighting, when you're doing that type of thing. It's amazing to see how far wrestling has come, but see how far writers are still holding people back with stereotypes and things of that nature. But you're going to have that. We had that in the 80s with stereotypes. I mean, seriously, the junkyard dog, the honky-tonk man, all those. There were characters. They were larger than life, so I understand they want to go back to that. They want to recapture that magic. However, it seems like every time a writer fails at doing their writing, they fire the wrestler. And they always say, well, we don't have anything for you, and, we wish you in your future endeavors or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, shouldn't the writer be fired for not having enough to sell? I don't understand that. It's not the wrestler's fault. It's amazing how you can just give them one small gimmick like, I'm awesome, or yes, and some people can sell it. But other wrestlers, they need more. Not everyone's the same. And I'm not saying that should put them over the top, because as we all know, if you've ever watched first of all, I don't even know how this dude even became a world champion, all right? Other than he can talk. You know what I mean? He can be a good heel if he needs to, but he was carried through a lot of his career, all right? He was. John Morrison or Johnny Nitro carried him a lot when they were a tag team. He was still growing. Look, if your wrestlers still have to grow, they shouldn't even be on TV. But they rush them out there so quick. I don't understand it. I just don't. Anyways, like I said, Extreme Rules was horrible for me. Like I said, Raw, I tried to watch it. You always try to watch the Raw afterwards to see what's going to happen. I wasn't impressed with that either. It was just, I don't know, guys. I just felt like my intelligence was assaulted watching that. I don't know. Anyways, what do you guys think? I'll leave it up to you. I also understand, guys, you want me to talk about hockey. Yeah, I did see, what is it? I saw the Rangers game last night and the Capitals. Capitals won, but I will talk about hockey later this week because I got to get ready soon to go down to Flyers. That's right, I got tickets. So I'm going down to Flyers, Devils, and tailgating and things of that nature. So I will talk to y'all then. I'm trying to upload this before I go. So I'll talk to y'all then. Y'all be safe. I'm out.